Welcome to Raising a Bar, a podcast giving no bullshit marketing advice for Aussie business owners. Expertise takes experience, and that's why we tell stories from lived experience to deliver marketing that raises the standard of what Aussie business owners should expect.
All right, we're back with another episode 11, legs 11. Mm-hmm. And today we're continuing the conversation on AI. Mm-hmm. Yep, so we get this all the time. And to be honest, when I made the career change into marketing, people kind of said to me, is there going to be a job in marketing with the way AI is happening? So yeah, what are your thoughts?
And fuel's very expensive, so you probably need to consider your job at this point in time. You're fine, you're okay. You don't
Not
need
going to be replaced?
Well, you could always be replaced, but you couldn't really. No, I think you don't have to return to be a pharmacist just yet, mate. I think, listen, AI is better than marketers at a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But what it's really good at is the things that weren't great marketers' jobs anyway. It was those around the edges. So when you look at the world of agency, as an example, so many people had outsourced teams. You know, they're in the Philippines and they're in Malaysia, and those people were doing the really process-driven jobs. I do A and I get the result of B and I follow these instructions. They weren't kind of creative, understanding the nuance of a WA market, the difference between, you know, what CNC machining is and fabrication is, and really being able to go, oh, those audiences are a bit different. Great marketers are still going to exist because that understanding and that emotional intelligence is always going to be there. But yeah, those jobs around the edges, time to get worried.
So not going back to pharmacy yet?
You're fine.
And we're not all screwed.
And actually, Mon, I think it's where well, listen, you know, I don't think I sit here and say that with great authority. Like, of course, there's nerves for,
to be honest, AI can probably replace me as a pharmacist anyway at some point.
I actually think once the robotic piece comes into it, it's going to make much less mistakes in highly mathematical and repetitive things. At the end of the day, once you understand what it is you're serving and that you need to do and all of the contraindications that exist around that, there's only one option, isn't there? Like it's probably a more black and white option in pharmacy than in creative land. So yes, it'll come, but you know, it's not there yet. Maybe you should go and create that. That's maybe what you should be doing.
I'll stick to marketing for now.
You to learn how to vibe code today. You should be okay.
So back to marketing. What should people be using AI for in the marketing space?
I mean, the big obvious ones are there. So it's really good at content. And it's not really good at content if you just, you know, throw something into the AI tool and say, you know, deliver me a strategy for this, or can you write that? It's awful.
The stuff that comes out.
Yeah, and it just lies.
And then you get more aggressive in your prompting.
That
you're just completely off.
You can yell at it. But the idea of customizing a prompt and getting it to understand you, you know, to prompt it correctly and exactly what you're looking for and to feed it back is time consuming. But once you get those bots right, once you get those custom bots right, so for all of our customers, we're writing them bots so they can write LinkedIn better, right? That we're doing that for them. We're like, you don't need to pay us to do this stuff anymore. Use your language. We've created you this bot. It's a nice sticky product. It comes with our service. So those things are fine, and people are getting really used to that. And I think content is your big winner if you take the time to make sure that content is right for you. So that's number one. My favorite at the moment is image creation. I just think Nano Banana's just playing a phenomenal game there in their Gemini product.
I've seen some of your images, mate. There was 6 fingers in one of them.
There was, but that was like 3 months ago. It's got much better. Also, Hugo's birthday party invite. I mean, when your child asks for a disco trampoline party, difficult. Nano Banana. Hello. So practical examples for a business in Nano Banana. Got a couple. So where we used to traditionally look for image generation, okay, the worst phase of any part of the website, cool, what imagery have you got for your website? Oh, shit. Yeah. So we had 2 options historically. One was we need to book in a shoot, we've got to come out. Now in Western Australia, that was always annoying because if you are a hydraulic hose company or a, you know, anyone that works sort of remotely, a fuel equipment supplier, generally you needed to film somewhere that was on a site. And generally that mine site wasn't your mine site. So you're trying to go to a tier 1 or a tier 2 contractor to get permission. So some videographer, hi Joel, can rock up and
We love
film
you.
stuff, right? And it was just painful. So photography, that image creation was option 1 and quite annoying, timely, had to get there. Option 2.
Annoying time, expensive.
Yeah, I mean...
Can be.
Yeah, definitely can be expensive. I mean, when you add the flights in, et cetera, yeah. Option 2 was our old friend, the image, website. So stock
images.
Yeah, stock images, iStock, all of those things. Ironically, we used to, have quite a large subscription to be able to pull stock images down for social media, et cetera. I think we're down to like a subscription with 20 images a month is all we need to pull now, which is just the coolest thing ever, right? So that's where you see, cool, AI is costing a lot on our expense sheet, but hey, we are actually reducing other stuff on the other side. So that gets me excited, obviously. Not quite even yet, but we get there. We've got to experiment. So image creation and replacing that stock image. So you had this option where your website looked like every other human's because you all had the same image on your website of the same multicultural team. Oh, there's one of them, and one of them, and one of them, and one of them. But we all had to use the same image, right? Or the expense and timeliness of going to get your professional photo shoot done.
But it's amazing because we had one of these photos done recently using AI, and the client was like, oh, they didn't think it was their product, and we'd used AI behind it.
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, Wrangler.
I was actually going to use Wrangler as the example.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
interestingly with that was my image. Thanks so much. So the challenge that we had there is when we went to, we needed the images, but we needed them in, he had great images of
We had a
his
great
trailers.
product
image,
Yeah.
I'll finish the story. So we had a great, but he obviously is out on a farm property, he's on agricultural land.
Beautiful land.
Beautiful
by
land.
the way.
It was great land.
Beautiful
Cute
land.
puppy. Very cute puppy too.
Yep.
But
Great when you're wearing cream
his-
pants.
Not so much that day. But the problem there is that we were trying to do marketing for a service vehicle. And a service vehicle, mechanical service vehicle, is actually this, needs to be on a mine site, once again, needs to be in the red dust, needs to be somewhere that's seen. So we were able to just take that image, throw it in Nano Banana, tell the environment we want to. It's still a difficult prompt. You've got to get used to it. But instead of all that other expense, it was probably about 15 to 20 minutes worth of prompting. And he was literally like, how did you get the trailer there? And we're like, we didn't, mate. That's AI. So the cost saving to an awesome small business who's just, gutsing it out and getting a great, job done every day, to not have all that added expense, what a game changer for a small business. So 2 great examples, content imagery. I love what it does in data. I am not a numbers girl, as you would know. If it's P&L, I'm a happy beast. If it's a balance sheet, I'm a happy beast. But in between that, I have Grant and now I have Claude. So being able to feed data in and have it analyse that data and give information back to you. So in a really practical example for us, we obviously have big, data sources of every lead that we get for a client. You understand the lead sheet and what we do, and what we were
Live in
able
the lead sheet.
Live in the lead sheet. That's the motto. Is that we want to be able to say to our client, this was who made the inquiry. Was it? It sounded like a great inquiry. Was it a good inquiry? Did you make money? How much money did you make? Cool, that's how we do return on investment, right? That was incredibly manual, but we were committed to that. Because if you say we return ROI for you on marketing, you've got to return ROI in marketing. Different story with AI now. We're probably 6 full-time staff members down because AI does the job of analysing that data, seeing if something is a qualified or unqualified lead, and presents that through to the client. So just phenomenal ability to give great information without the cost of having human resources have to analyse that data. Beautiful examples.
Yeah. So you saying, obviously, there's definitely roles within this business now that we use AI and don't need them. Do you think that's happening across the board?
Or it should be. And I think in what I'd like to see with in-house marketing teams is where you had, a big marketing manager role. What we just see is the consolidation of the roles underneath it. So a marketing manager can probably write content faster. They can probably analyse data quicker. They can generate some images now and they don't have to go out to photographers. So where they might have outsourced 2 or 3 different roles, or maybe had 2 or 3 different roles in-house to contribute to the marketing machine, we can see that there's a consolidation of that. And we haven't really replaced, we've replaced those data analyst roles. I don't really understand why anyone would have an executive assistant anymore if you can use AI to analyse your email. Those things for me have been pretty commonplace. But one thing is we've kept the best of every speciality. So if you are a PPC, pay-per-click Google Ads specialist, you still 100% have your job. You know how to pick the nuance, you know how to get it, but the data, in terms of interpreting that data and getting it back to you, we don't have that admin assistant offshore anymore that needed to analyse that. ChatGPT complains a whole lot less, does a better job of it, and doesn't make mistakes. And so that key role is still in the business. The key person who goes, I guess the easiest rule to tell you, Meep, is to get the job done at 100%, we still need 20% of that human to analyse it, but that grunt work at the 80%, a lot of that grunt work is now being done in a marketing context. So for me, happy days. Smaller team, big investment in AI. So there's still that big investment, but we're getting through stuff faster. So what is AI doing? Making things faster for us, getting them more efficient, probably more accurate in many cases when it comes to the data piece. But it still needs that human who really knows their shizzle to be checking that on the back end.
Checking and prompt. I think there's like
prompting is difficult.
I don't know. I think
you had an experience last night, didn't you, Mick?
What was that? Last night. I'm very tired. I tried to create my first Canva presentation in preparation for Friday through ChatGPT.
Got a bit of respect for us now?
Yeah, I spent a good 2 hours getting into it and got stuck and decided to just go back to the old school way of PowerPoint.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very old tool, seeing as we're a Google environment, but that's okay.
What's the Google version called?
Google Presentations.
Yeah, Google Presentations.
Yeah. So good example, but that importance of prompting and not being frustrated. And I think the thing is why marketing is not dead.
Also, I think it's important to start it before 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that
fresh in the morning, patience, cup is full, have time and energy to sit there and talk to a robot.
That's fair. You could use any excuse below the line behaviour that's needed. You just need to get the presentation done. But no, I think in answer to that around, will marketing die? Prompting and knowing what the right answer is, just like in law, great lawyers aren't going to disappear, because a great lawyer has to make sure that the case that's cited as a reference case isn't bullshit and that AI hasn't made it up. And the same way that great lawyers won't be replaced, but the admin around the bottom, that research layer that doesn't have the experience, well, maybe that is going to disappear. And I would argue that too. So good marketing, great marketers don't disappear. I think it's phenomenal because for me, people have been called marketers who are not marketers. They're people that sit at as an SEO, as example, when people used to sit in the SEO environment and they were just chasing keywords and they didn't really understand, well, what's the big picture? What are you trying to do for Ant at Wrangler? And what are you trying to do for Pete at Superfit? Like, what is the purpose? And they didn't actually know what the customer did. They just knew, we want to rank for seat covers. And you're just sitting there going, that's not marketing, mate. Like, you've got to be completely invested in the customer journey, in understanding the intent of the search and need of that person and what they're looking for and what's going to meet their requirements and what's going to be a detractor to them, to be able to push them through the whole funnel. That's got to come back now, right? Because the big brains are going to be working on that. Research, competitor research, understanding what others are doing out in market, and target audience research in AI. It's just so much faster. And it's the speed in which we can turn stuff around that makes me happy.
Yeah, I think there's something too. I mean, I remember using, it was a bit ChatGPT, prepping for a pharmacy interview. And because I'd learned pharmacy, through the textbook, rewriting all my own note, there was no AI when I did it. And I knew when the answer was wrong, and it was wrong multiple times. And it's just that the red flag goes off, right?
Yeah, that's the perfect example. So, we are moving into a very agentic environment where the agent is able to do many things. What do you want to happen today, Meep? And you can type in, and it gets, prompted to move forward. But the ability to be able to prepare something like that. George was working on a vibe code today for preparation of quick strategy, to be able to get things for those clients that are smaller size, where engaging in a strategic roadmap with us is a bit out of the question. But they just need that help, and we want to give them that help. And he's building this element that prompts and goes through in vibe coding. No matter what, it needs the brains to build something like that, and then it needs to be, repeatable to make that investment worthwhile. And in the back end of that, he's very happy to go through and go, yeah, that's a bit wrong, that's wrong, and that's wrong, but that's cool. That's the human element needed. So at this point in time, will it get better and improve? Of course it will. I just think there's always going to have to be that human experience that sits across it. But if you're, administrative, black and white individual in marketing who just does what you're told to do, well, we can tell AI bots what they need to do as well. So that's where you need to be worried.
I wonder how many people in all different industries that kind of eliminates.
I mean, that's a broader discussion that there's probably much better podcasts to listen to. But seeing as you're having a nervous breakdown on the other end of the table, I mean, ultimately, you look at any revolution through time, and we found ways to find other jobs that come from it, right? And we'll find a way to evolve through it. I don't think there needs to be scare tactics. I just think if you approach this stuff with a glass half full mentality, and you're a smart person and you look into what you can contribute, that's good. I look at the role of our delivery managers or our account managers. I look at your role. The demand to go out and interact with a human, interpret their needs, and then come back and be able to feed that into a bot still has to work. I don't think our busy clients who are in manufacturing and who are on the road every day speaking to their clients, or who are, actually in front of clients and working through tax returns and doing those things, care to build the bots to deliver them great marketing. They probably will look to us and say, can you deliver it faster? And is there any efficiencies and economies of scale? If you don't have as many people to deliver that, can I get it any cheaper, right? And they're fair questions that will be asked as we turn through time. But I don't think people are just going to be able to, or want to, or have the desire to do everything themselves. But that human interaction skill set, the ability to interpret needs, emotional intelligence, I'd love to have those skill sets right now.
Yeah. And I guess, so there's elements of roles that are going to be less prevalent in the workforce, but there's, it's just going to be a dynamic time where people, there must be a lot of training where people can upskill into prompting and actually understanding the integrity of what's getting spat out in AI and those elements. You do it in research, everything in research. There is so much time that goes into understanding if it's a valid resource and what are the indicators. Yeah. Like the being able to do that using AI.
I think the higher the risk, the more knowledge you need as a human to make sure you analyse what's in there to be true or false, right? So, to prompt is a difficult piece, and AI can teach you to prompt, so that's one thing. Ask the tool, how would I prompt this? That's a cool thing to do. I mean, you've seen we've got, a big AI academy that I think 6 of our team are all going through. The team then train team. We've got train the trainer going on. The guys have access to basically any tool they want in the AI world, and that's a commitment we've made for the next 2 years to innovate. And it's costly. But out of that, we truly believe there'll be, cost efficiencies and just, staff morale of them are going, hang on, I'm part of this. It's not something coming to replace me. That's where the key sits for us as a marketing agency.
Yeah. So marketers aren't, out of work. We still do need or have a place.
For now, we're okay.
Yeah.
You got to be all right.
Yeah. What do you think the key roles are then that are going to be out of work? Well, not out of work. Just at risk.
At risk? Yeah. Listen, coming back to, I think that sentiment is that unique thought, and, people that ask great questions are going to survive in the world that moves forward, and people that ask dumb questions and, like to follow an exact black and white process are not going to be employable, because those black and white processes get fed to the LLM, and the LLM can do them much more efficiently and much smarter. I don't know what the percentage is, but something like if you took Einstein's IQ and then you looked at an AI's IQ, it was something like 5-6 times what Einstein's was. So that processing power, it's something that, we can't possess in those black and white instructions, but the creativity, the unique thought, the curiosity, the challenging, the experience we bring as humans, it's going to take longer for it to be able to do those things, if it will ever be able to do them at all. So I don't want to name roles, but if you don't interact with people and you sit and put data in and put data out, that's concerning.
So what's the key takeaway for today?
I think real marketing is going to make a comeback. And the things that are going to disappear are the repeatable, disconnected tasks. The bullshit where you are looking at someone from an agency come out and talk to you about your business and going, I don't actually know what you're talking about or how that is relevant to me. Let's hope and let's see that disappears, and real marketers have to come back and really ask about things that move the dial. So for me, I don't think AI is going to kill marketing. I think that AI is going to kill crap marketing.
Nice. Bring it on.
Time for food.
I'm very hungry.
Yeah.
Long day.
It's been a long day.
Day.
Thanks,
Thanks
Mippy.
for your time.
Appreciate it.